Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about Polkadot. I'm going to show you exactly where I'm looking to buy this market and also what it needs to do to flip bullish again. Now, before we get started, if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to smash that like button. It tells YouTube you like the video, and it also tells me that you like this video. And if I know you guys like this content, then I'm going to be more motivated to make more of it. All right, so hopping right into the daily time frame here for DOT. Obviously this market has been somewhat sideways here in 2021, as a lot of cryptos have, but ultimately we do still have an uptrend, which is why I like to start with trend lines, because with a trend line, you can kind of structure the market, to identify whether it's in an uptrend or downtrend. And in this case, we do, as I said, still have an uptrend simply because we are still seeing higher highs and higher lows, albeit the fact that this one up here was slightly higher than this high back here. But ultimately, the market is still pointed higher. Okay, now a lot of people would stop there and they would say, okay, I have this trend line on my chart and that's enough. Okay, I'm just gonna buy the market at this trend line. And sometimes that'll work, but a trend line isn't really enough. I like to look for confluence, a confluence of support or resistance. And so in this case, what we can do is start to look at some horizontal areas to try to identify a key horizontal level that can play off of this trend line. Okay, so if we look back here, you can see where we have this consolidation here, and we also have this consolidation. So, clearly there's got to be an area around here on the chart that we can mark. And sure enough, if you look through here, there's actually a horizontal level that served as resistance back here. Okay, support after that, and support through this entire consolidation. And there was even an area through here where it served as both resistance and support. Now, this gives us a little more structure to that trend line, because now instead of just having a single level, we have an intersection of a horizontal level and a trend line, and that gives us some confluence, okay? A confluence of support or resistance is simply an area on the chart where two or more levels intersect, okay? So in this case, we do have a confluence of support now right around $20. And sure enough too, $20 is also a psychological number. So 10, 20, 30, etc. Those are all gonna be psychological levels. Now, once again, I'm not gonna stop there, because I do like to find some confirmation or invalidation that horizontal levels like this are significant. So for that, what I like to do is I like to plot some Fibonacci levels on the chart to try to see if there are any Fibonacci retracement levels that also line up right around the $20 area. So the first region I'm going to look at here is going to be these lows down here, because obviously those were significant swing lows in this market, just because they do stand out. So this was a significant pullback for DOT. From the high up here, this right here was about a 50% pullback. So it's very significant for DOT. And, right away you can see that we do have one Fibonacci retracement that lines up right around 20. However, once again, thinking in terms of confluence, I like to look for a confluence of Fibonacci retracements as well. So, drawing from one, wave in the market isn't really enough in my opinion. It's better to draw from several different areas to see if you have more than one retracement level that lines up in a certain area. So for that, we're going to take this low down here, okay, which is actually the 2021 low. So this level right down here is the 2021 low. The market opened the year right through this area, put in a low right away. And so we're basically drawing our Fibonacci retracement tool from the 2021 low up to the 2021 high. So it's the entire year's range. And so it is also significant. Now, let's not stop there. We can also take this low down here. Okay, once again, another very prominent swing low in the market from July, and measure up to the all-time high. So basically, I know this starts to look a little bit confusing, but really all we're doing is drawing the Fibonacci levels from these three prominent swing lows. All right, and we're matching that up to the all-time high up here. Okay, so when we do that, what you'll notice is that we have three separate Fibonacci retracements that line up right around $20, which remember, that's also our horizontal level, and that's also the trend line off of these lows back here that also connects with the July low. So that, in my opinion, is significant because we have a trend line, we have a horizontal level, and we also have 3 Fibonacci retracements that all line up right around $20. So there's a lot of confluence there. Now, let me be clear that this does not indicate that DOT is going to trade at $20. A lot of people see this and they think that, I'm saying that, DOT will trade toward 20, but that's not what this means. It doesn't mean that DOT is going to trade at $20. What it means is that if DOT does trade at $20, there's going to be a lot of buying pressure in that area. It also means that I would want to buy in that region. I would want to set bids down there because I know that it is a confluence of support. Okay, so this does not mean, as I said, it does not mean that DOT will trade at $20. And in order for DOT to get that low, I mentioned yesterday, if you didn't see yesterday's Bitcoin video, be sure to go back and watch it. I'll link to it up top. But I explained in that a scenario where Bitcoin could go back and test $42,000, maybe even $40,000. And if that happens, then I do think we could see DOT trade, maybe around the $19 to $20 area. Okay, so that's really the only way that I see DOT getting down here toward $19 to $20 later this month. If Bitcoin were to trade at 40 or 42, then yes, there is a chance we see DOT trend that low. So just because we have a confluence of support there does not mean that the market will trade at that level. I'm certainly not shorting this market, but if we do see $19 to $20, I will also be buying. Okay, I want to buy in that area, but I am not calling for the market to head there. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at what could invalidate that. So let's assume for a moment that DOT is not going to test this area down here because there are no guarantees. All right, so if DOT does not come down here and test this area, what could invalidate this scenario? And the very first thing, once again, starting with the trend line, we have this trend line here off of the all-time high, or at least very close to it. Now, again, a trend line is not enough to signal a buy or sell, at least in my opinion. So, if we look at this market, the short-term trend is pointed lower. Now, obviously, what makes up a downtrend is lower highs, lower lows. And that's exactly what we've seen here ever since the all-time high. We've just seen this series of lower highs and also lower lows. So what we need to signal that DOT is reversing is obviously a reversal of this trend. So we need to see higher highs and higher lows, but first we need to see DOT clear this trend line. Okay, so this trend line that has kind of capped every rally, we need to see it clear this area right around $27, $28, and then head up and take out some of these highs from back here. Okay, so if we were to see DOT close above this area up here, so right around the $31 area, then to me, that would open up this area up here right around $38. Okay, so the first order of business would be to clear this trend line up here. All right, so if we map this out, basically clear this trend line right around $27, and then from there, take out the $31 area. And then if that happens, I do think we see that move up toward 38. Now, again, I'm assuming that DOT is not going to go down and test the $20 area. So for me, until DOT does these things, until it clears this trend line and carves a new higher high, because remember, that's going to be the key. Right now, to reverse this downtrend, we need to see a higher high, higher low. Until that time, I am going to have all of my focus on this area down here around $19 to $20 based on that confluence of support that we talked about. So the best risk to reward right here is going to come in this area around $19, $20. So this is where I would actually prefer to buy DOT. But again, if we did see it clear this trend line and also up here around 31, okay, then that could open up $38. So that's kind of how I'm playing this one. I would love to buy DOT in the $20 area if we do see it in the coming days. But if we don't, as I mentioned, all eyes are going to be on that $19 to $20 confluence of support. So I hope that this has helped, guys. Basically bottom line, as long as DOT is below that $27 to $28 area, then I am going to be focused on $19 to $20. That's where I want to buy this market. So I hope that this has helped. If you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment below, and I will talk to you again soon.